And welcome to another edition of the Bronco Coaches Show. We're at Old Burdick's Bar and Grill in the Radisson, downtown Kalamazoo. We're here on Mondays from noon to 1 o'clock talking Western Michigan athletics, and football season is running hot right now. The Broncos are 4-0 and on top of the Mid-American Conference as we move into midweek Maction with head coach Lance Taylor after a Western Michigan dominating performance over Kent State, 52-21. Coach, you did it in just about every phase you could on Saturday.
Robin, it's great to always see you here after a win, especially after a win, and really proud of our team this week. I mean, I think it was our most complete team victory this week. You know, offense, defense, and special teams all showed up and played really well, which I was really proud of. That was the challenge this week, was to stay laser focused, just to go 1-0. You know, we talked about rat poison all last week. Don't take the bait. Don't take the cheese. I thought for our guys to come and prepare the way that they did this past week and then show up on Saturday and really play well in all phases of the game, I was really proud of our players, because that's really hard to do. When everybody's patting you on the back and telling you, you know, you're 3-0, you know, top of the MAC, all the fluff and noise that you hear from the outside, it really detracts from what you want to do on the football field. But I thought our defense played their most complete game. You know, they had 4 forced turnovers. There were 5 sacks in the game, 10 TFLs. We held them 1-11 on third down. There were a lot of really good things on the defensive side of the ball. And then the offensive side of the ball, we just continued to be efficient. You know, 569 total yards, 358 yards rushing the football. And so our players of the week this week it was our defense for their performance. It was our whole defense because of what they did. They really carried our team this week and played up to their standard and level, which was excellent to see. And then our offensive line. Those were our players of the game, and I thought that those units really played really well and showed up and showed out for homecoming this week, which was great to see.
Beautiful day. The fans were there. Man, what a great crowd. I've never seen as much tailgating before a game. I got there 4 hours before the game, and the tailgate lots were packed.
The atmosphere was awesome this week. I tell you what, we come in, you know, with the police escort on the bus, going to pregame meal. There were tents everywhere. The Bronco walk was exceptional. Everybody was out. It was a beautiful day in Kalamazoo. And I said this after the game, but I can't thank our fans enough, Bronco Nation enough. You know, the city of Kalamazoo, the community of Kalamazoo. We had 23, almost 24,000 in attendance. It was our highest attendance since 2018. And I think it shows the support, and we're finally doing what we need to do, which is win games. And you always get buy-in and support when you do that, but we have the best atmosphere, or the best fans in the MAC. I appreciate our community, the support here, and I think that's what really makes this place special. I'm not going to, you know, stop saying that. I know I say it every single week we come home, but I mean, it is real, and I appreciate Bronco Nation and the community of Kalamazoo for what they do.
Yeah, and you got off to a great start as you got the football and went 83 yards on 11 plays. That was a 6-minute drive to start the game, and Malik Dudon scored the touchdown to put you on top for good.
Malik has really been playing at a high level. I mean, he's a guy that I haven't talked about a ton, but I really want to mention him right now. You know, I actually thought about that after my press conference after the game. I'm like, what Malik does in the run game and pass game, he's such a selfless teammate. He blocks his tail off in the run game. He continues to give great effort in everything that he does, and he's made some big-time catches for us. This was his second touchdown of the season. He really did a nice job helping us start fast, you know, which is excellent. We talked about starting fast and really finishing strong, just playing every single play to the Broncos standard on Saturday, and I thought our players did that. Again, I was just proud of how we played, you know, the standard that we've set, and really hopefully getting some confidence here as we continue to move forward into November and Maction.
And then Jaden Nixon does what Jaden Nixon does. He did what he does. How about a 92-yard run to the house? Second longest touchdown run in Western Michigan football history.
Yeah, Jaden continues to play at a high level. I mean, he had 8 carries for 135 yards, 16.9 average. And I think the best run of the game everybody forgets about because it was called back for penalty. But, I mean, it's an outside zone to the left. He almost gets tackled, rolls over the guy, reverses field, and then runs back all the way around. I mean, he has those highlight plays every single week. The 92-yard touchdown you just mentioned was the second longest in WMU history. But it's because of what our guys up front, our O-line, the physical dominance that they display every single week. But it's not only our O-line, it's our tight ends, it's our receivers, it's everybody else, it's all other 10 players on the field doing their job to make sure that we can, not only turn those explosive plays, but also turn them into touchdowns. He had a great game. Buckley had 2 touchdowns. Oldie had a 70-yard run. He had 13.8 yard average, which was excellent. I mean, Oldie, averaging explosive every time he touches it. I mean, he had a great day. I mean, so the run game was clicking at a high level. When you can rush for 358 yards, you're doing something right.
Yeah, Zaire Abdus-Salam ran that 70-yard carry up the middle, and Coach Bell wanted to get him a touchdown, and 30 seconds later he handed it back to him. I think Zaire was a little bit gassed right then, but he gave it his best shot.
Yeah, I tell you, that was a huge play for us. We came in, we went into halftime. I think it was 38-7. We came out and really had not scored. Our defense got a turnover on the first possession of the second half. But offensively, we hadn't gotten any points. And, that big run was a huge momentum play for us, that Oldie had 70 yards. I mean, he hits it right up the middle. Really great run, really great read and patience by him. Unfortunately, he didn't get the touchdown there, but he was the one who created those points because of the explosive play. And that's one of the things that we've talked about, Robin, is, really winning the explosive battle. We had 8 explosive plays. We limited their explosive plays from a defensive standpoint. We won the turnover battle again. So there were some really good things in that game. I think the couple of areas that we have to get better in and that we really had to focus and look in the mirror. One, we had more penalties. We had 8 penalties for 100 yards, which we have not done. We led the MAC in fewest penalties and 4th in the nation coming in this game. These were the most penalized game that we've had, 8 for 100 yards. So we have to do a nice job or a better job staying disciplined with our penalties, and then really turning the turnovers into points. We've done a really nice job for the last 3 games doing that. I thought this game we didn't do as well on offense. I think the first 2 turnovers we only had 3 points. We've got to turn those into more points there, and really that killer instinct and mentality to finish. I talked about it after the game, but just at the end of half, not being settled or not being satisfied or settle with 38-0, but let's go find a way to get points there at the end of half.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and talk more about Saturday's 52-21 victory over Kent State and look ahead to what's coming up next for Coach Taylor and the Broncos. Now, time out. You're on the Bronco Coaches Show from Old Burdick's. We'll be right back.
Burdick's has burgers, not burgers, burgers. All natural, honest to bigness, bona fide, aged steak, beef, burgers. Or chickpea. And Burdick's has beer, not beer, beer. Whether it's winning the big game or winning at life, it all happens right here at Old Burdick's.
Hi, I'm Jim Vandenberg. If you've been driving around, you've noticed empty lots and no new cars. We understand how frustrating this can be. That's why we've done the legwork for you. We're getting in CPO shipments from coast to coast to bring you the best late model vehicles with certified warranties. Don't get taken advantage of with markups on new and used cars. We make sure you get the best value for your car buying dollar. Maple Hill Auto Group, for value like no other.
Robin Hook back with you at Old Burdick's Bar and Grill, our host for the Bronco Coaches Show here on Mondays from noon to 1. You can also catch it on WMUBroncos.com on demand and watch it anytime as we bring you the show and keep you updated on Western Michigan University athletics. We're with football coach Lance Taylor, his team 4-0 and on top of the Mid-American Conference standings with the schedule moving to midweek Maction, Northern Illinois coming up next. More on that in a minute, but back to Saturday and that 52-21 win, Coach. When you get up that way, you're able to get some young players some experience. And I'll tell you what, I am impressed with some of your backup guys that are getting an opportunity here. Like Brock Lowry, your backup quarterback, man, what a dimension he brings to your offense.
Yeah, Brock's done an excellent job, when he's gotten in the game. He's played for us in several games this year, but I think he brings a different dynamic as a quarterback, just the ability to run the football. He's an exciting young player that we have. He was a transfer from Indiana that we brought in, has really done an excellent job in our backup role and brings an added dimension to our offense. But you talked about it, the ability to get some young players or, some second string players in there that were able to come in the game and really play well. I think that there's some exciting players that we continue to get reps. We played a lot of people in that game, which was really good. Got some valuable experience, and really that's I talked about this after the post-game press conference, but my mentality going into half there was we had 3 timeouts, and I challenged our team with 2 things this week: the consistency of performance to play well every single play, and then to have that killer instinct and mentality to always attack. And if I'm going to preach that and demand that from our players, I have to exemplify that as the head coach. And going into half, I wasn't going to go into half with 3 timeouts and just be satisfied to be up 38-0. I mean, Kent has some really good players. I didn't want to give them a chance. I really wanted to be able to score more points to really put it out of reach there. We were aggressive at the end of the first half. We unfortunately had a turnover that cost us, and then defense comes out. They had a PI and then give up 7 points there. So, we didn't execute that situation very well. We've got to do a better job there. There is plenty of things as we move forward for us to continue to work on. We've got 11 days until our next game here as we flip to Maction. And I think that's my mentality is how do we look in the mirror and what are the things that we can get better at? How do we continue to grow as a football team and really just stay focused on the moment? The process of what it takes to get better, the habits that have gotten us here. If we look in the mirror and say, what can we continue to do better, not pat ourselves on the back, not listen to the noise or where you're at currently, I think that we can continue to be a really good football team if we work on those traits.
Well, one thing the Broncos have been consistent at defensively is coming up with turnovers, and Tate Halleck had a couple of picks in the game playing back there at the safety spot. And if you look at the teams that are on top of the standings, you can almost assuredly go to turnover margin and find those same teams at the top of turnover margin. And, Coach, you're right there. And that's a big reason why the Broncos are 4-0 right now.
Huge reason. We talk about the turnover battle. You just mentioned it. There's nothing more correlated with wins or losses than the turnover margin and the turnover battle. And so we talked about that. Our defense has done an excellent job the last 5 games creating turnovers. When you look at this game, we created 4 turnovers. We had 5 sacks, 10 TFLs. We won the turnover battle 4-1 on Saturday, which really tells the whole story. And really it's because of where we are right now. In the last 5 games, creating those turnovers and turning them into points, playing complementary football. Tate had 2 interceptions. He had 5 tackles. Popeye and Mason Nelson each had 2 TFLs. We were able to affect the quarterback, which was a huge deal on Saturday, and we want to continue to do at a high level. And really, I challenged our defense, and really Tate and our defensive leaders challenged each other with playing at a higher level, especially on the critical downs. And I'm so proud of how our defense responded. What you saw on Saturday is who we need to be every single Saturday or Tuesday or Wednesday as we flip to Maction.
All right, flipping to Maction, Northern Illinois is up next, week from Wednesday at Waldo Stadium. That's a 7 o'clock kick. For tickets, go to WMUBroncos.com/tickets and be there for Western Michigan and Northern Illinois. I've looked ahead to the weather, and it looks like it's going to be a great night at Waldo Stadium. Stafford Smith Field, and It's a big game. I mean, Western Michigan and Northern Illinois always hook up in Maction, and it's usually right down to the wire between two teams that like to run the football.
Well, it's always a great night when we're in Waldo. So regardless of the weather, we want everybody to come out and support us. And it'll be our first game in Maction play Wednesday night, a week from Wednesday, playing Northern Illinois, a really, really, really good football team. I mean, they had probably one of the biggest wins in program history, it is the biggest win in their program history, beating Notre Dame, a top 5 team in South Bend. I know how hard that is to do from my time there with the Irish. They also beat Bowling Green, who's one of the best teams in our conference. And so Thomas Hammock, their head coach, does an excellent job. He's a former player who played there. He understands the history and tradition of that place. They are physical. They love to run the football. They've got great running backs. They've got great O-linemen. They're going to be physical on both sides of the football. They beat us last year. They physically dominated us last year. Physically dominated us last year when we had a chance to go get bowl eligible. Yeah. So we've got to bring our best and make sure that we are ready to play and that we are the most physically dominant team here in Waldo on Wednesday night when we play Northern Illinois, because they will be ready to play. It's always a great matchup. And what they did to us last year, I have not forgotten.
All right, well, you got two guys that I know are going to bring it next Wednesday. Got your center, Jake Gideon, is here, and Popeye Williams, one of the newcomers, and these two guys are making plays down in the trenches for you, Coach.
Yeah, we talk about the game as one up front on both sides of the football. I say that every single time I talk publicly and to our team. What we're doing on the offensive line and then defensive line up front both ways are really pushing our team forward, moving our team forward to the next level, raising the standard in everything that we do. Jake Gideon, was a guy who he exemplifies all the traits that we talk about. When you talk about leadership, when you talk about toughness, when you talk about demanding the standard and leading by example, he's a guy who, every single day, I think about Jake Gideon because of what he's done for this program. He stayed when he could have left and, probably gone a lot of other places, probably made a lot of other money in the NIL world, just because of who he's done and the number of games that he's played in, his experience, his performance as an All-MAC player. I can't thank him enough for believing in what we're doing. He was one of the guys who stayed around and really rallied this group of players that came back to believe and have the confidence to come back that we could do something special. And he wanted to do something with his Bronco brothers, and that was win a MAC championship. And so I'm thankful for Jake Gideon, what he means to this program, what he means to me personally, and he is a great leader up front. Popeye is a guy that I got to know, when I was at Louisville. He is an excellent young man. He came in and really exemplified the traits from day one. You want to talk about one of probably the best performers and maybe the MVPs of spring football practice. It was Popeye Williams. He came in and really just put his head down and worked, earned the trust of his teammates and his coaches, and he is really starting to play at a high level. I think we're just starting to see who Popeye can be, affecting the quarterback, really getting in the backfield, the TFLs, the havoc plays in the run game and pass game. I'm excited for his second half of the season here. I think his production is going to go through the roof, and he's going to continue to propel us. But it's how he works every single day. It's the leadership that he brings, and he brings it as a quiet leader, just by example, and I appreciate how he leads. But you're going to hear from both of those guys, and I think they're leading us from the front.
All right, Coach Taylor, thanks for being here. 4-0 and on top of the MAC. It's a good spot to be. Still a lot of football to play. Let's go 1-0 against Northern Illinois, all right?
1-0. Let's go Broncos.
All right, we'll be back and chat with some outstanding student athletes from the Western Michigan football team when we come back on the Bronco Coaches Show from Old Burdick's Now a Timeout.
It all started with a war hero and wounded warrior. Sealy began on Portage Road in Kalamazoo in 1963. A lot has happened since then, and a lot has changed. But at Sealy, the more things changed, the more they stayed the same. Trust, customer service, and community.
I'm Lindsay Tarpley. Happy 60-year anniversary, Sealy Auto Group, from your friends and community partners at World Champion Soccer Academy. Go Broncos!
Get a fresh view in Kalamazoo. Wander museums, catch a show, and see a classic or two. Unwind, open up, try something new. Bike around, make a splash, and explore nature's hue. Hit the trails, grab a bite, then relax with a brew. Be curious, get loud. There's so much to do. Find all this and more in Kalamazoo.
Robin Hook back with you on the Bronco Coaches Show. We're here on Mondays from noon to 1 talking Western Michigan athletics, and football is in full swing. 4-0 in the Mid-American Conference as we move to the midweek Maction portion of the schedule. Joined now by Jake Gideon and Popeye Williams of the Bronco football team. We'll start with Jake, the veteran of the offensive line and of the offense in total. And Jake, that was an outstanding performance. Put up over 500 yards on air. That's pretty good. You did it against the team, so congratulations on a big homecoming win.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. You know, our offense coordinator, Walt Bell, has done an amazing job since he came in January. You know, we've all bought into what he's been trying to implement into our offensive culture. You know, every single week he emphasizes just being the best offense on the field, whatever that takes. And you know, at the end of the day, we just got to score one more point than them. You know, it obviously starts up front with us guys, the 5 or 6 guys that on the offensive line. So yeah, it's been a great last 4 games, and looking to keep it going.
Well, this offensive line's been together for a while now, and you guys just are making it happen up there on offense for the team. What's it like down there in the trenches for most of us who have never experienced that before?
You know, for the offensive line culture, you know, Coach Mendelson has done an amazing job since he came in last January 2023. We every single week focus on being the most physical unit on the team. You know, as the offensive line goes, the rest of the team goes, and we fully believe that. And so our focus is, you know, just get 1-0 better every single day, and we're not gonna take any applause for how well we've been playing or anything like that. We don't listen to any outside noise. We're just going to go back on the field and go in the meeting room and keep going back to work.
Well, you play the center position, and you have a little extra duties as the center to get everybody lined up right and identify what everybody on that offensive line is supposed to be doing. Talk about your role as the center.
Yeah, so I've been playing center the last 3 years. You know, each and every year I've learned something new, and I came in with a great former veterans that I played with, like Mike Callahan, Wesley French. Those guys have taught me so much as I transitioned over to playing center 3 years ago, and you know, it's definitely my favorite position I've ever played in football. You know, I like having that burden, you could say, on your shoulders of getting everybody on the right page and communicating every single play and letting everybody know where they're going to go, what guy to go to. And so, you know, it's a big weight, but I'm more than willing to handle everything that comes with it.
Yeah, and you have 2 different techniques. You got to learn how to run block. You got to learn how to pass block. They're totally different. Run block is aggression. Pass blocking, you're just hanging back and keeping Hayden clean. Do you like one over the other?
You know, I love them both. You know, if I'm doing my job and I'm keeping number 11 up, and those 3 guys are scoring touchdowns, making explosive runs, and that's all I care about. So,
what was the feeling when you saw Jaden Nixon bounce outside and race 92 yards for a touchdown? As an old lineman, you got to have a little gratification when something like that happens.
Yeah. So, I mean, right before we went out on the field, we saw what the position we were in, and we were like, all right, let's make this one-play touchdown. And we have that confidence in Jaden. We have that confidence in the rest of the offensive line. You know, we had a great play called, and that's just what 11 players executing their job looks like. And so, you know, Jaden, he's an incredible player. Every single week he's doing something crazy, and it just makes you say wow. And so he's done an amazing job. But the rest of the 11 guys, or rest of the 10 guys, did their job as well to make that happen.
Yeah, and the Broncos don't overwork their running backs. You got 3 of them. You carry the ball roughly 30 times a game. They're each getting about 10 carries, and they're making the most of those 10 carries and staying fresh and making big plays.
Absolutely. I mean, all three of those guys are fantastic. They're explosive. And then the best thing about them is they're absolutely selfless. And they're never going to care about how many carries they get, how many touchdowns they have, or how many yards they have. They're going to work off of each other, and I think that's the best thing about our offense. Is everybody on the entire offense is completely selfless, and they just want to see us win and keep going to work and score touchdowns.
Jake Gideon, he's from Kentucky, and he's his 5th year here at Western Michigan. And tell you what, you guys have an opportunity here to go to 5-0, because we're not going to look past Northern Illinois, and there's another good team that kind of got after the Broncos a year ago, Jake.
Yeah, absolutely. We went down to Cobb, Illinois last year, and we had 2 games to get bowl eligible, and they really put it on us last year, and they really had our number that game, and we definitely do not forget that. And so we know how physical of a team they are. We know how good of a defense they have. They're the same team every single year. They always play us really, really tough, and especially last year, we didn't score a single point on them. And so we absolutely remember that game. It's not going to be personal. It's just another game ahead of us, but then again, it's special.
All right. And the defense is turning the ball over for you guys to get short fields. Popeye's a big part of that. How about the play of your defense, some of this complementary football that Coach Taylor's been talking about?
Absolutely. The defense has done an amazing job, even going back to when Coach Powers first came in the spring. Those guys have some very, very crazy looks on defense that can kind of cause troubles for a young quarterback or anybody who's kind of inexperienced. And those guys just are taking advantage and getting after the quarterback. And we definitely thank them for putting us in great field position every single time we get on the field. And we got to maximize those opportunities to score every single time.
Jake Gideon, keep it going, all right?
Thank you.
Good luck against Northern Illinois. Hand that mic over to our next guest. He's from the state of Indiana, a transfer from Louisville, his first year as a Bronco, and really starting to make some plays. Had a sack against Kent State. Popeye Williams joining us, and Popeye has been known as Popeye since his days in high school, right?
Yes, sir. I transferred from Pike Township to Westfield Township, and
That's Indianapolis
yeah,
area?
Indianapolis. My actual name is Garrick Williams, for those that don't know. But Popeye started out as a football name, and then I ended up transferring to Westfield. And then my teachers, my friends, my principals, they all started calling me Popeye, and it kind of just stuck.
Well, we like it, and he's making plays. What was it like to get that sack against Kent State the other day?
Man, it was great. It was my first college career sack. My adrenaline was through the roof. My body was just doing whatever it wanted to do after I was just doing celebrations. And then I also came to the sideline and celebrated with my teammates as well, Money Mays.
Yeah, the sacks for D linemen are like touchdowns for the offensive guys, right?
Yeah, feels great, man. Like a sack is like everything the defensive ends especially want. It's all about money, and you get the sack. So it's a great feeling, and I want to keep feeling that same feeling.
Well, let's talk about sacks. What's your go-to move? You got the swim move, you got the bull rush, or you got the spinorama. What's your go-to, Popeye?
My go-to move is a speed chop. So just try to beat the offensive lineman with a speed rush. If that doesn't work, then I'm gonna convert to power. So pretty powerful guy as well.
All right, he came to Western Michigan from Louisville. They play a little football at Louisville, and you had a past relationship with Coach Taylor there, huh?
Yeah, Coach Taylor, he came in to Louisville, I believe the same year that I came in. And I seen him, I'll never forget this moment. I seen him, I think, either lunch or dinner, and I went up to him and introduced myself. And from that point moving forward, he was just a cool coach, great team coach. And he just knew how to make your day better. If I had a bad practice, I seen Coach Taylor had a smile on his face all the time, which kind of lit me up as well. And he was just a great coach to be around.
Well, the transfer portal is made for guys like Popeye to make a change, find a new opportunity, and he's found one here at Western Michigan. And Tell you what, that defensive line is really coming up, Papa.
Yeah, Western Michigan's D-line. I love to be a part of it. I came in. I didn't want to really do too much in terms of being a vocal leader because I wanted to play my role. I knew Corey Walker. He was the leader in the D-ends room. I look up to him a lot. He's a great teammate to be around. And so I just wanted to come in, do my 111 to add to the D-line what they needed me to add.
Yeah, and you came along with Rodney McGraw. Was that a package deal, or how did that work out?
Yeah, so Rodney, he played in Indiana as well. We didn't get a chance to play against each other. We almost did in regionals, but he also played in Indiana, so we kind of had a connection there. He started out at Penn State at first, and then he ended up transferring to Louisville. And we was there last year together, and we created a great friendship. I ended up going into the portal before bowl game. He was in contact with me about Western Michigan. His high school coach, I believe, had a relationship with our D-line coach. And so it was kind of a great opportunity to try to get him in contact with Coach Denham, and it all kind of just worked itself out.
Well, if you can't get excited every day in practice working with Coach Denham, you just don't have a pulse, because that guy is incredible. Talk about Coach D.
Yeah, man, Coach Denham. I love Coach Denham. He brings this energy every day. He's the same person every single day. We kind of had a relationship before I came to Western Michigan. Previous camps that he coached at when he was at UIndy when I was younger, he was my D-line coach for those camps. And then we're also from the same state as well, city, Gary, Indiana. So we kind of had a connection before I came here, which was great. And then he's an even better football coach.
All right, what do you think of the Mid-American Conference now that you've played over half a year in this league?
It's different. It's most definitely different, especially going into Maction. I haven't played on weekdays, so this is going to be my first time playing on weekdays. But I'm just excited to go into Maction with this team that I'm a part of.
Yeah, the cool thing about Maction is everybody in the football world is focused in on you, because you're the only thing going.
Yeah, and that's great. You know what I'm saying? All eyes on us as we're going into Maction. We're going in 5-0, so, or 4-0, I forget. But I know we're undefeated though, and I know we're going to stay that way going into Maction. And I wouldn't want it any other way with this team.
Well, Northern Illinois always brings it. They're physical. They like to run the football, and you guys like to get after those ball carriers.
Oh yeah, that's basically what Coach Power's all about. Really, it starts with Coach Taylor. He starts it off. Come in a team meeting, he talks about us being a physical defense against the run, and then Coach Power talks about we have to earn the right to pass rush up front. And like you said before, we love to get sacked. So in order for us to do that, we got to stop the run, and that's what we're going to do.
All right, you liking your move to Kalamazoo, Western Michigan, the whole college scene here?
Yeah, I love it. It's kind of smaller than Louisville for sure, but that's what I like. I like a smaller community, somewhere where I can kind of just thrive in a little bit, somewhere where I can kind of make personal connections, especially with the community around here. I did community service at the YMCA and made a couple friendships with a couple high schoolers out here that I keep in contact with on social media and try to uplift them. So it's just great to be in this community that's willing to be here for you no matter what.
Well, Popeye, keep getting after those quarterbacks. That was not your last sack of the season.
No.
I expect to see you burying quarterbacks here for the remainder of the season.
Oh yeah, you will, most definitely.
Popeye Williams and Jake Gideon, our guests from the Western Michigan football team, on top of the MAC at 4-0, going into Maction November 6th at Waldo Stadium against Northern Illinois. Guys, thanks for being here, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
We'll take a break. We'll come back and talk about another Western Michigan championship. That's next as we continue from Old Burdick's on the Bronco Coaches Show. We'll be right back after this timeout.
How far do you have to go to find a great deal on a new Ford SUV?
Not too far.
How about a new Ford F-150?
Not too far.
How about for basic maintenance and service?
Not too far at all. With Dorrance Ford's mobile service, we'll come to you.
Nice.
Now's the time to buy because we're making room for the 2025 Fords and moving out the 24s. Come in now for the best selection. Dorrance Ford is proud to support Bronco Athletics. Shop Dorrance Ford.
Not too far for your next car.
Burdick's has burgers, not burgers. Burgers. All natural, honest to bigness, bona fide, aged steak, beef, burgers. Or chickpea. And Verdicts has beer, not beer. Beer. Whether it's winning the big game or winning at life, it all happens right here at Old Verdicts.
Wow One Day Painting is a precision team of professional painters who plan and prepare perfection and then deliver it with precision to make your home look and feel brand new in just one day. Wow! The magic show begins when a gorgeous van stops in front of your home and a precision team steps out wearing perfect uniforms and big happy smiles. What happens next is going to blow your mind. Wow! One Day Painting. Go to wowOneDay.com.
Well, chalk up another championship for Western Michigan University Athletics. The Bronco women's soccer team picked up the Mid-American Conference title before the season even ended. They wrapped it up on Sunday with a 5-4 win over Ball State at the WMU Soccer Complex. They have one regular season game left against Northern Illinois, and then we'll host the Mid-American Conference Women's Soccer Tournament out at the WMU Soccer Complex with the semifinals on November the 7th, which is a Thursday, and the championship match following Sunday. We're with the championship head coach, Coach Robinson. Lewis, congratulations on another title.
Yeah, thanks for having us, and happy to be here to celebrate wins on Mondays, always.
There's the hardware right there, folks, and that's two of them now for you in 2 seasons. Back-to-back, that's tough to do, man. Back-to-back in the Mid-American Conference in anything is tough to do because everybody's so balanced, but you found a way to get it done.
Yeah, I agree, and we told the ladies that yesterday after the game. I think there's a world that you can sit after 2 and say that you can get to 1 sometimes by a little bit of luck, getting hot at the right times, taking some teams by surprise, I think. But I think to get 2 back-to-back is truly the hardest thing to do, and you're playing everybody's best game every week, which is what we've had to do this year. So I think that achievement is massive, and we got to be aware of that for the ladies for sure.
Well, the good thing about Western Michigan is they have Jen Blitchak and nobody else does. And this young lady has had a spectacular final season of collegiate soccer. She had a hat trick on Sunday against Ball State. That's 3 goals, folks, and 3 goals in 1 soccer game. That's pretty impressive. She now has 15 this season. I think she needs 4 more for a MAC record, but 15 is the school record, and she's just been phenomenal this season for you, Coach.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal player, of course, and an amazing person. And I've actually got to meet with her tomorrow and let her know in soccer we give a game ball when you get a hat trick, and I've got to let her know that we got to stop giving her game balls because we're hosting a tournament next week. We don't have enough game balls to do it because she takes one home every week. So, yes, we got to have that difficult conversation. But no, she's a special player and plays in a position where she's able to succeed with a good team around her, I think, and she's a big part of everything we do for sure.
Yeah, she just scores goals. I mean, that's what she does, and it's nice to have one of those caliber players on your team. But Jen's not alone. I mean, you've had some outstanding performances all season long. You had a great goalkeeper, and you had to battle there in the second half to pull that one out yesterday and celebrate with the confetti and a championship trophy and all that.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to make it exciting, for the neutrals that come out and say soccer's not an exciting sport. They wanted to keep bums in seats watching games. No, but it was way too exciting for my liking. But yeah, they made it interesting, and Ball State's a good team. They're one of those teams. Shows how tough the MAC is. I think they got 2 or 3 real quality, high-end league players, and we knew they could do that. So made it a little bit too exciting. But the team, as we've talked about all season, we've tried to become a team that, yes, we know we have Jen, who I think is probably the best player in the league, but we also have a bunch of other players that can step up when they need to, like Abby did yesterday at the end to score the winning goal. And we've had different people every week stepping up to get us over the line, which you need.
Yeah, it's a 90-minute game. It's 4-4 past the 80-minute mark, and Abby Worthman scored that game winner for you in the 85th minute. Talk about taking it right down to the wire, huh?
Yeah, and obviously we're also relying on another score going on with Buffalo Miami to see if we actually win the conference outright, because our team's not the kind of team that will celebrate sharing a conference. That's not the way they're wired. So to get the news as well with, I think, 3 minutes to go, that result went our way, and Abby's goal and then hanging on at the end was amazing. Made for a great day out of the farm, and that place was packed, and the atmosphere was great, and on a senior day too, which I mean, you can't write a script better than that, I don't think.
We got another one on Thursday against Northern Illinois, wrapping up the regular season, and then it's conference tournament time. And because you won the MAC regular season, you get to host. And what better place to host the championship tournament than the WMU Soccer Complex, affectionately known as the Farm?
Yeah, and that's always a huge goal of ours. I mean, just to bring tournament soccer back here again after the last year we've had with the men's team and our team. I think it's a spectacle, and I know we'll get great support here in West Michigan, and a great event to be hosting again.
All right, you don't know who you're playing yet, or do you? I don't think you do yet. This won't be decided until after Thursday, but there are some really quality teams. Who are some of the favorites that you would have to face?
Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, the 6 teams could be any of, I think, 9 right now, maybe 10. So we'll figure out on Thursday, but they're all tough. I mean, we've played them all once, and coming back to do it again, we know we're going to get their best game, which we used to this season. I think, Buffalo gave us a great game here. They're sitting in second right now, so I think it could be one of many, and we'll be ready.
That loss, that was at Kent State last year in the tournament championship match. I don't know how you've been able to hold on to that for a year, but you had. It's been in the back of your mind, and it's, I think, been driving these ladies here in the 2024 season, the way that last match from a year ago went against you, a close one, and denied you a trip to the NCAA tournament despite winning the regular season championship.
Yeah, and that's extra motivation for us, for sure. I thought we were a great team last year, and winning the regular season outright is the hardest thing to do. And the best team normally does that over 11 games. But we weren't ready for the tournament, and losing out in that tournament semifinal the way that we did, I think we learned a lot from. And we're using that as motivation to be ready for next week. We've been taking these last couple of games in the season as kind of practice tournament games, because they're must wins. It was must win at Toledo. It was a must win game yesterday. It's a must win game for us on Thursday, and then we'll be ready for the tournament for the next one. I think we've grown a lot as a team from that.
We've heard a lot about Jen Blitchak and Abby Worthman and Blackburn, some of these really stalwart players who are putting points on the board for you, but there's always some unsung heroes. Who are some of those unsung heroes on your team that might not get the recognition, but without them, you wouldn't be here?
Yeah, well, I think Heidi Tomasma and Brielle Gomez have been our centre backs all season, and Heidi's been a centre midfielder for her career, and we kind of moved her in that position with Mira Webster not being available this year. So I think those two they've grown every week. They've led from the back in a difficult system that we play, and we put a lot of pressure on them the way we ask them to defend aggressively. And they've kind of been the spine of the team all season. They don't show up on the stat sheet all the time, but they've been steady, played 90 minutes every game, and we rely on them a lot.
Yeah, sometimes we forget you're without maybe your best athlete overall in Webster, not available this year due to an injury, but you've been able to overcome that.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, Mira's, I think, has really grown this year as a leader, not being able to play, which is really important. So she is still there, and I think she's a big part of what we do every day. But certainly other players in those positions have had to step up into different roles that they weren't planning on, and maybe we weren't planning on, both on the field and off the field. And I think they've done that really well. It hasn't been easy. It's been some ups and some downs along the way, but we feel in a good place going into tournament time.
All right, 1 to go Thursday, 3 o'clock out at the WMU Soccer Complex against Northern Illinois. What do you know about them?
Yeah, same as everyone else. They're going to be playing for a tournament position, so we're going to get the very best version of them. And we're playing to remain undefeated for the second year in a row, and that means a lot to us. And there's some RPI ranking stuff that we're pushing for as well to get into that top 25, top 30. So we'll be ready for it, and it's going to be a big game and a great day out there.
Well, Western Michigan University is a soccer power for sure on both the men's and the women's side. It's great to see soccer right there just competing at a high level on both the men's and the women's programs.
Yeah, well, it's nice. It's awesome to be a part of it. You don't get many schools that have that, where you have a men's and a women's team that I think work hand in hand. We work pretty closely. We support each other really well, and I think it's contagious, And I think, like a lot of things around here, there's no coincidences that we have success together, and we're hoping to continue that into the tournament run.
Coach Lewis Robinson, head coach of the Mid-American Conference regular season champion women's soccer team. Congrats, Coach, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Take another break. We'll come back with another special guest here on the Bronco Coaches Show from Old Burdick's Bar and Grill, downtown Kalamazoo. Now this time out.
Burdick's has burgers, not burgers. Burgers. All natural, honest to bigness, bona fide, aged steak, beef, burgers. Or chickpea. And Burdick's has beer, not beer. Beer. Whether it's winning the big game or winning at life, it all happens right here at Old Burdick's.
Get a fresh view in Kalamazoo. Wander museums, catch a show, and see a classic or two. Unwind, open up, try something new. Bike around, make a splash, and explore nature's hue. Hit the trails, grab a bite, then relax with a brew. Be curious, get loud. There's so much to do. Find all this and more in Kalamazoo.
Robin Hook back with you on the Bronco Coaches Show. We're at Old Burdick's Bar and Grill in downtown Kalamazoo, and going to change gears and talk fundraising and that kind of stuff with Mike Parrish, who made the transition from the football world into what we all know as NIL. That's name, image, likeness, and it's kind of a new thing in college athletics, but it's become very, very important, and this guy is handling here for Western Michigan. Thanks for coming out. How's it going?
Thanks, Robin. It's going well. It's been a lot of transition over the last 5 months, and really spreading the word on what NIL is, because as you said, it's fairly new to the space, and really the importance of NIL, and really how it can help all of our coaches and athletes better position the Broncos for more championships.
So how'd this new role all come about for you, transitioning from the football staff to NIL and fundraising and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so first started looking at this around this time a year ago, to be honest. And as we had further conversations through the winter and into the spring, recognized that this is a path I wanted to go. This would have been my 20th year on the football sideline. But really wanted to make a transition to a role that impacted more than just the football athletes. So this position has allowed me to do that, and so far it's been a good transition.
Well, I was in the fundraising game for a long time, and that's what you're doing now with NIL. It's out there knocking on doors and developing relationships with people that want to support the program, and that's what NIL is all about. And it's not only supporting the program, it's an opportunity to support individual student athletes, the ones that you really want to see succeed and stick around.
For sure, yeah. We've seen where NIL has been a great opportunity for our athletes to build their brands, but it's also helped our athletes connect with the community. We've seen some businesses in the area that have started paying our athletes to be out and about a little more. So it's really helping them, but then also, like you said earlier, helping our coaches retain and recruit the best athletes we can have here at Western Michigan.
Yeah, and there's a lot of support in this community in the state of Michigan, the west side of the state, Bronco alums who have businesses, and this is a way that they can get involved in a personal relationship with a student athlete, help them kind of grow in their development off the field, and also, help them financially to better their life.
For sure, yeah. We see, especially with a lot of our athletes, the scholarship athletes receive their scholarship checks, but for many of them, they also feel that they need to help take care of their families. So I think the average fan may be surprised to hear the number of athletes that as soon as they receive that check, they send money home. So come into the semester, they're kind of trying to figure out, how do I take care of myself and pay for my meals? So NIL has allowed athletes to continue to do that, while at the same time making sure that they're putting the correct stuff into their bodies to perform at the highest level.
So tell us how NIL works. How do you get signed up for something like this if you're a viewer watching and may want to get involved?
Yeah, there's a couple different ways. On the business side, we have the Bronco Exchange, where businesses can register at wmubroncos.com/Bronco Exchange. And with that, that's an opportunity for athletes to work with businesses to promote those businesses, and we've seen some great success there. Most recently, the WMU Career Assist Leader for volleyball, Logan Case, out in the community finding deals. So it's a great way for businesses to use those athletes to help them build their brands on both sides. And then the other way is to give directly to the Broncos Will Reign Collective. The Broncos Will Reign Collective has been around now for about a year and a half and was started by 3 football alums. Jason Babin, one of the 3. The other 2 are Mitch Zajac and Scott Selzer. And they started that collective just over a year and a half ago because Marshawn Nealon had an opportunity to leave Western and go to a Power 5 school with a 6-figure deal. And Marshawn didn't want to leave, but 6 figures is hard to turn down. So thankfully, we're able to get the Broncos Will Reign Collective off the ground through private donations. Marshawn stayed here, obviously drafted 2nd round by the Dallas Cowboys last year. So we've seen great success there. So the collective is another great way that people can give. And we're excited. Just here in a few weeks, we're actually going to have our first ever NIL Day of Giving. The Broncos Will Reign Together NIL Giving Day on November 19th. So for more information, people can go to broncoswillreign.com to find out about that, as well as follow Broncos Will Reign on social media.
There you go. Let's make it rain on that particular day and throughout the season. And it's also a great opportunity for the student athletes, like you said, Mike Parrish with us, to build a brand. But this is a learning experience for these people to get some experience, maybe added to their resume. Look, most of these young people are not moving on to the next level. They got to go on and make a living in business or education or whatever it is they choose to do. But this is great experience for them if they're out there promoting a business as part of their NIL agreement.
For sure. Great experience to build that brand. And also part of that, just preparing for life, as you said, whether they're going to play professionally or not, to earn some outside income and be prepared to pay taxes or whatever that may be. We've got a great programming through Broncos Empowered to make sure they're prepared for that. So working in collaboration with them, we make sure that our athletes are prepared for what comes next.
Great stuff. Mike, for people that want to get involved in this, either in the collective or in NIL with a particular student athlete, how do they go about doing it?
You can go to broncoswillreign.com. Again, follow the collective on social media as well. On Instagram, Broncos Will Reign. On Twitter or X, it's actually Bronx Will Reign. So follow there, check out the website, you can give directly. And then the Broncos Exchange as well, which is, as I mentioned, wmubroncos.com/Bronco Exchange to get involved in the NIL space.
Sounds great. Mike, thanks for doing what you're doing. It's a key part of the department now, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Robin.
Mike Parrish from the Western Michigan Athletic Department and heading up NIL and the Broncos Will Reign Collective. And that's going to do it for our show today. Appreciate you watching and coming back to WMUBroncos.com to pick up the show online. I want to remind you that next week, no show next week on Monday the 4th, as I'll be in Carolina with the basketball opener. The Broncos opening up the season men's basketball at Coastal Carolina as part of the Mid-American Conference Sun Belt Challenge. So we'll have that one for you on the radio next Monday. So no coaches show. We'll be back here on the following Monday, but a special 6 o'clock edition here at Burdick's of the Bronco Coaches Show. Zach Manning will be here to talk Western Michigan hockey with Pat Ferschweiler and some of his guys. They're off to a great start so far. Played Boston College to their knees over the weekend, fell short in the end. But Coach Ferschweiler will be here as they talk about the NCHC season and college hockey for Western Michigan, trying to make it 4 years in a row into the NCAA tournament. So that's coming up a week from next Monday. No show next week. We'll be back here in a couple of weeks, leading into a watch party that night as the Bronco men's basketball team takes on Butler. So 6 o'clock show focused on hockey, leading into a watch party here in Burdick's as the Western Michigan men take on Butler. Special thanks to Coach Taylor, to our student athlete guests, Coach Robinson, head coach of the MAC champion women's soccer team, and Mike Parrish, our guest today. Thanks for watching. See you next time on the Bronco Coaches Show.